Welcome to Pennsylvania in Focus. I'm Alan Wooten, managing editor for the East Coast of the Center Square. Today, we're talking about an assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. Joining me today is the Center Square's Anthony Henning, a reporter for Pennsylvania. Anthony, it's been as we record today on Thursday, early in the afternoon, it's been a whirlwind day. News is flowing out rapidly. Just where you're at in Pennsylvania, maybe getting out to the grocery store or things like that. What is the talk that you're hearing in reaction to what transpired in Butler?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all over the place, right? You know, this is the first assassination attempt we've seen in, about 40 years or so on a sitting or former president. You know, I think we're getting to the point where, there were some high emotion statements and tweets that have gotten people into some hot water. You know, the usual conspiracy theories floating around on both sides. I think now, people are kind of over the initial shock, and now they're kind of thinking, I guess, along two lines. One is getting more details on how exactly this could happen, how big of a failure this was of security, but also what this means going forward. I think, we're past that initial shock. We're in this level of analysis of thinking about the future and what this really means for the election, for Pennsylvania, for, the political future of America, right? And, again, I think this is, we have constantly heard this refrain in recent years that we live in unprecedented times, but there's always a precedent for things like this. We saw this with attempts on Gerald Ford, on attempts on Ronald Reagan. It seems like now, and especially with the Republican National Convention going on, we're seeing much more of a focus on, where did the Secret Service go wrong? Where were the communication breakdowns? And we're finally getting a timeline where the shooter was actually on the radar of concern, up to an hour before the actual shooting happened. And now we're kind of getting to, what are the consequences for this and how do we prevent this happening in the future?
President Trump is scheduled to make an appearance, his first after the convention, on Saturday in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I think J.D. Vance will be with him, so that'll be their first time out on the trail together. It's at an indoor arena. My question is, what would be the thoughts? Have you heard anything, or what do you think are the possibilities that he will be in an open-air arena between now and the next 100-plus days? To do a rally? Yeah,
I mean, I think, Trump famously enjoys the political rallies and going out on the campaign trail and getting into it.
Yes, he does.
I would be very surprised if we don't actually see him in an outdoor arena again.
Really? Okay.
I imagine that, all eyes are on the security details. And so I think there's enough pressure here where we're going to see much more tight coordination between federal, state, and local police forces, security services. I would not be surprised if the security perimeter were much bigger. I would also expect a lot more pre-planning and checking to make sure, even if anything outside the perimeter could be a potential weakness, they're going to be all over that. I expect a much more of a crackdown, many more layers of security to prevent this sort of thing.
I'm thinking the kind of outdoor venue might change a little bit too. This was pretty open, not super symmetrical, as you might say, like a football stadium or something.
Yeah, I would imagine, we're going to see fewer fairgrounds, fewer, open plain, open meadow configurations, much more, a high school football stadium or something where it's at least, a bowl shaped. It's much easier to control entry and exit. The views are cut down. Yeah. I think it's going to be hard to keep Trump in a box from going out and campaigning in what he feels much more natural or comfortable in. But I do think we're going to see some changes, this is a 1 in a million risk, but we're not taking it. So we're going to avoid this. We could see some more construction going up to block vantage points, to block viewpoints. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think, that symbolism of Trump standing up and putting his fist in the air as if to say, we will not be changed. We're not going to be taken down. And the crowd chanting USA. I think it's going to be hard to just kind of give in. I think it's a throwback, right, to 20 years ago with the war on terror and this idea of we will not let them win. We will not let them change us. We're going to see some defiant displays, in the face of people who may be trying to kill him or injure him. He's not going to change. We're going to see some changes, but he's not going to let this completely control his campaign approach.
Got a guess for how soon he comes back to Pennsylvania?
Very, I'm sure, given just how many times we see the Biden administration popping in here. I mean, the day of the Trump rally, Kamala Harris was out in the eastern part of Pennsylvania. So I don't think that's going to slow down just how crucial Pennsylvania is as a swing state. I expect to see way more, Trump campaign appearances, Biden campaign appearances. Pennsylvania is going to be extremely busy.
Whatever his schedule was, I got a feeling he's trying to get back into Pennsylvania. He's trying to juggle something to get back into the Keystone State really, really fast. And it's sort of I don't know, ball teams would say unfinished business, as it were, finished his speech. But I would guess he's really trying to get back as soon as he can.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, even, given since the spring, I think Joe and Jill Biden alone have been here 2, 3, maybe 4 times. Harris has made a few appearances. If anything, this is going to speed up rather than slow down, along with all the political campaign ads you'll see on television and hear on the radio.
Anthony Hennon, thanks for joining us today. Listeners can keep up with this story and more at the Center Square.